everybody. This is Aurelie from Agorize. I'm the CEO for APAC. And today we're going to talk about open innovation. And the title of today's seminar is Open Innovation is the New Normal. How and why corporations should collaborate with startups. I am your host today. So I'm Aurelie, I'm CEO for APAC, and Agorize in a nutshell is basically a open innovation as a service company. We have organized more than 2,000 open innovation challenges for the past 10 years. And the cool thing about us is that we have this amazing community of 5 million innovators, and we have also developed and designed open innovation programs for more than 300 corporate clients, including Lego, LinkedIn, L'Oreal, Enterprise Singapore, Schneider Electric, Singapore Airlines, among many others. So basically, we ignite successful collaborations between, on the one hand, corporations, and on the other hand, startups. And through an online platform, which is called Agorize, and yeah, open innovation as a service. That's what we do. So let's get started. What is open innovation? Let's start in a very scholarly way, but basically open innovation is a tool to transform organizations, corporations, governments with the most innovative ideas, technologies, and players, whether they're internal or external. So let's dive a little bit deeper into what that means. And for that, we're going to compare open innovation with closed innovation. And closed innovation is basically where you use the constraints of your own corporation as a limit, and you will only look for ideas and new solutions within the constraints of your own company, here on the left on the slides. While open innovation, on the other hand, means that you're no longer bound by the limits of your own corporation. You are actually seeking out ideas, projects, solutions, partnerships that are outside of your company. And so, which means that you will be able to mix internal ideas, internal talents, external talents, so that you will no longer be limited in the ways you can address new markets. So the possibilities here given by open innovation are endless. So next, I wanted to say this phrase that we got from NASA, and what NASA says is basically that about open innovation, because they've been using open innovation. NASA has been using open innovation for years and years now. And they say that open is the future and innovation is no longer an option. And I'm going to tell you why this resonated so much with us. Just to give you one example that happened end of May this year. The Singapore Finance Minister, Heng Swee Keat, gave this speech when he announced the fourth budget that was called the Fortitude Budget. And he had a whole section in his speech where he advocated for open innovation. And what he said was basically, quote, "We will introduce a set of national innovation challenges riding on the success of open innovation platforms. Relevant agencies will be articulating the problem statements. Startups and corporates can step forward to form partnerships to create solutions. Governments will provide support for this innovation drive." I'll put you the link of this video here on the slides. And to me, that is definitely showing a very radical shift that we see today in the way corporations innovate. Innovation is no longer an option, and doing that in an open way is the new norm. But let's dive a little bit deeper into why does it work? And why are we so obsessed? And why are we even talking about open innovation now? It's because it's a win-win equation. It's a win-win equation for first the corporations. And what are the benefits that they take out of it? We listed the 5 main ones. Number one benefit for corporations to use open innovation is to crowdsource solutions across regions, across industries. The second benefit as a corporate to do open innovation is really quickly access valuable innovations. And we know how time is so sensitive today. The rate that everything is changing, you really need to make sure that you really innovate as fast as you can. The third benefit, build a community of startups and entrepreneurs around your brand. And this concept of community building is so strong and is at the center of so many things that the most successful corporations today have been using the principles of symbiogenesis, which means basically it's no longer about being the fittest or the strongest of your ecosystem to win. It's about making sure that you embrace your whole ecosystem when you want to move forward with your own company. Because if you win, and if you make the other players of your ecosystem win, whether they're startups or students or universities, everybody wins. The fourth benefit as a corporate is to leverage diversity to provide creative solutions to unsolved problems. You know, sometimes you feel like you're stuck as a company and you feel overwhelmed because you feel like you will never be able to overcome that problem. That's when the power of the crowd and the diversity that it offers is super powerful. And the last main benefit for corporations to do open innovation is brand awareness, but not brand awareness to your consumers. Yes, of course, but also to really shine a light that is really focused on innovation across all of your stakeholders, to say basically, hey, as a company, we want to be at the forefront of innovation. We want to be the trendsetters of our industry. And we're open to collaborate with the players of our ecosystem. And that's super important because many brands are perceived as old school, and that doesn't, facilitate these kinds of collaborations. Now, we've covered the benefits for corporations. What is the win-win equation for the startups then? First one is definitely get direct access to corporate decision makers. Super, super important. We as a startup ourselves, it's taking us ages just to make sure we find the right person to talk to. And this is the very big, huge benefit for startup. The second benefit is the chance to co-create solutions for real industry pain points. And by real industry pain points, as an entrepreneur, sometimes we go into the wrong direction because we think that this is the problem we want to solve. But through these open innovation programs, startups actually get to sit down with real big companies who have real problems. And then they realize suddenly that they need to pivot into something that's more meaningful for the market. The third benefit for startups is to get valuable mentorship from industry leaders. Once again, you sit at the table with people who have been in the industry for years and years sometimes. And this notion of mentorship is so important and is at the core of any entrepreneur who really wants to make it big. The fourth benefit as a startup to participate in these kinds of open innovation programs is really get funding for proofs of concept more quickly. Time sensitivity is exactly the same. Maybe it's even much more important for us startups, but POCs and get them out quick is definitely something that is going to be a key metric of success. And the fifth benefit for a startup is get exposure. Get exposure across the corporation who is organizing this open innovation program, but also get public relations, PR opportunities to spread the word about their amazing products. So we've just covered this win-win equation between startup and corporates. Now, let's dive deeper into 3 case studies that we prepared for you today about corporations and organizations that leverage open innovation. So let's start with Melco. Melco is an entertainment and casino industry player in APAC. They have multiple resorts all across the world. And it's been 2 years they've been working with us now. And last year, their startup competition was about innovating and reinventing the hospitality and entertainment industry. And for that, they used Agorize to source startups across multiple countries. And the cool thing is that 175 startups joined from 55 different countries in just a few months. The top 3 startups had the chance to win a proof of concept worth of $55,000 plus on top $10,000 cash prize to share, cloud credits through AWS, and networking opportunities with key decision makers at Melco. And you know what was so exciting was that, let me just tell you the story of the number one and second startup who won this challenge. The first startup who won this, who came first place, was Smart Beings. And Smart Beings just has this amazing product called Woohoo, and it's a voice as a service software. You can see it as some kind of Alexa combined with Siri, combined with Amazon, which would be basically in the form of a device, which is like a virtual voice assistant where you would put them into the guest rooms, and guests could have an enhanced customer experience within their rooms or in the casino, wherever they are, and they could ask at any time, can you call this person? Can you do this? Can you order this for us? So all of that virtually. The second startup that made it into the podium was Saba Hospitality from Macau. Sorry, the first startup was from Silicon Valley, and this one is from Macau. And basically what they invented, because Melco was also wanting to create a better employee experience for all their employees. And Saba Hospitality created this solution called Melcopedia. Melcopedia is basically a virtual guide chatbot, entirely online, that will provide an internal database and knowledge database for all of the Melco employees. And these two projects really helped Melco take it to the next level in terms of customer experience and employee experience. Now, let's dive into the second case study we have for you today. It's from the company called Pernod Ricard. Pernod Ricard is a wine and spirits French company worldwide. And when we worked with them, they really had this, when we talked about unsolved problems, there are rising concerns about underage drinking, binge drinking out there that are causing a lot of problems and a lot of unrest among the population. And so Pernod Ricard really wanted to make a change on that. And so they launched a startup competition with us to raise awareness of responsible drinking through technology and innovative solutions. It was crazy. 350 startups participated out of more than 60 countries out there. And the top 3 startups won 50,000 cash prize to share, a chance to share, to implement their solution at Pernod Ricard, and amazing networking opportunities within the group. And what really got me excited when I watched the finals of this challenge was that the startup that won is an online escape game provider. Yes, you heard right, online escape game. Forget about, the escape games when you go into a room and then you try to find a key and there's another room and you try to find another key. This one is entirely virtual. And the reason why it was so innovative for Pernod Ricard is that they really identified a very interesting technology that is supposed to be for entertainment, but then they applied it into the education field. And what I mean by that is that this startup from the US, they created an online escape game to transform the way we perceive drinking for underage people, teenagers, young adults. And so they designed basically a game where you would really use that game as a way to raise awareness and educate the younger populations in schools about the dangers of drinking and why it's not that cool. The second startup that made it to the podium was Drink Easy, and it's a mobile payment platform. And it's really cool because it's basically something on your phone where you can see in real time your tab, but also the level of alcohol that you're drinking, everything in real time, so that it creates a seamless experience for the drinkers, but it also raises awareness about the level of alcohol that you have in your bloodstream. All of these startups are now in discussions with Pernod Ricard to implement these solutions within the company. And last but not least, the last case study I wanted to show you is not per se a corporate case study because it's backed by the Singapore government. Remember our Minister of Finance who announced this last week? This is actually how the government in Singapore is today showing the example of why corporations have to collaborate with startups. This competition is called Slingshot. It's been running for the past 3 years now. We're entering the 4th year collaboration with Slingshot and Enterprise Singapore. But the very interesting thing is that they rallied a dozen of corporations, and then they launched a massive global call for startups in any kinds of areas, any kinds of industries, low tech, high tech, middle tech, and 2,400 startups applied from more than 100 countries. And the startup that won the first place is called Eco AI, and they won a Singapore government grant of 250,000 Singapore dollars. And what they do is super exciting. They're basically using a machine learning focused software that is going to help with early detection and treatment of heart disease. So here you really have a concrete example of how governmental efforts, corporate efforts, and the ingenuity of the entrepreneurs out there can create global solutions that not only are going to create more value for humanity, but also are going to benefit humankind as a whole. So to conclude, if I was to leave you with 3 key takeaways today, and if there was only 3 things to remember from this seminar, is number 1, open innovation is the new future. Number 2, corporations and startups are not enemies, they're natural allies. Number 3, corporations can rely on platforms to source solutions worldwide. It doesn't have to be complicated. There are tons of players in the industry, may it be Agorize or other amazing companies out there who will be able to help you in your first steps into jumping into open innovation. And if you have already tested open innovation, and if you are already in initiating these kinds of programs, take a look at them, because that could actually take your open innovation program into the next level. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Aurelie Wen. I'm CEO of APAC for the company called Agorize. You can find me on LinkedIn, and here is my email address if you want to get in touch. Thank you so much.